Yo.
Right. Okay. So I think we got cut off. Sorry, my bad. I was fiddling with my phone, and you see, I don't know anything about my phone. That's
I
what
know we're
happens
sitting
when you
here,
don't know anything
man.
about technology.
That's why, I always like whenever I'm in the toilet, I'm always like I'm not doing Facebook at all. Because I have this phobia where I might accidentally click live and I'm like jerking off or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's
True.
that
True.
possibility when you
Yes. 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 That's why
right?
me after we have
That's
our
why
show, I
I never do
take
social media when
down
I'm in the bathroom.
the camera. I always take down the camera and have it face the wall. That's what I do
Yeah.
every
Because
time
you never
after the
know.
show. Because you never know what you're
You never
doing.
know.
And it's like
I
on and
know.
it catches you doing something really nasty. Holy crap.
Yeah, we'll talk after the show, please.
All right. Okay. So we're still
Yeah.
talking about too many
No, we're
options,
we're
good or
back.
bad. We have about like 12 minutes, right? So yeah, let's just finish up 12 minutes. Raj, 12 minutes. Don't worry about it. You can have your dad all to yourself. You can make him clean your your whatever, right?
No, as usual, he's talking about whatever. Hold on, hold on. Where were we? Okay, so are the guys bad? The guys still around? Okay, they're
Yeah,
back.
Patrick is
Lol, what
on,
happened?
Gabby's
All right.
on.
We appreciate
Um,
your loyalty. It's you.
all right,
You know
yeah.
what? It's like I feel like we have a little fraternity going on here. Like we have, Joe Boy, Gab, Jepoy, these guys that regularly comment. I don't know if there's anyone else out there listening that just don't regularly comment, but I don't know if these guys are even like 'cause they get us, but how does that like
Yeah,
do you guys spread the
LNT.
word? Do you tell your
LNTT.
friends? Yeah, do you tell your friends
But
like,
dude,
"Hey,
it's
we listen,
it's see, here's
you
the
know."
thing. Here's the thing. I mean, how many of your friends like something that you don't like? You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm a radio guy. I like radio a lot. My friends never liked radio. Master Yoda
Same
doesn't
here.
listen to
My
radio,
friends don't care about
right?
radio. I don't have a
Maybe flip
friend
mode from time to time, but no, they're not radio
I
people.
don't
They don't listen to radio,
even even my wife didn't listen to me when I was in radio. My
right?
past girlfriend, well, I don't know, but my wife didn't listen to me. She didn't know me. She didn't know who Rod Rodriguez was. Like maybe
So
she
you
heard
cannot
about my name,
impose
but
things on people. Like, even if you, like, for example, have you watched that Dear Bruh video? You still haven't watched
not
that, right?
yet.
I've told you so many times, dude, watch the Dear Bruh video. I told you,
Dude,
it's so funny.
but
You haven't
yes,
watched it yet.
but in fairness, you don't know yet if I'm gonna like it or not. I just haven't seen it yet. So
Yeah,
it's
you
not
go
like
on
you're
YouTube
imposing
all the
anything
time. You
because
can't finish
I might
Netflix
like
because you go
it.
to
I just
YouTube and you
forget.
don't even search for it.
I
Dear
just for
Bruh. Dear
I
Bruh.
forget. I forget. I mean, like, unless I do it now, but I don't want to do it now because we're doing a show and I don't want to be distracted.
See,
So, but
excuses,
anyways,
excuses. How many
no, no,
times have I
but
told you about Dear Bruh?
no,
Patrick,
but
do you know about Dear Bruh? Or Luis, do you know about Dear Bruh? We're talking
dude,
about
stop
Kevin Hart
imposing
here.
it. You might just disappoint them if they don't get it. I mean,
All
I'm
right.
pretty sure they might get it, but you know,
But
I'm
anyway,
pretty
okay.
sure they
Also,
probably
just to
get it.
add my point, YouTube employs compression algorithm. If you have more resolution, you can have more detail versus a video uploaded at native
Yeah,
720p or
see?
1080p.
So there's a
Whatever that
difference,
means.
Ice. If you use your iPhone 13, there's a difference compared to me using my iPhone 8. Like they'll know, like, okay, this looks clearer, or this looks, I'm sure there's a difference. There's a difference. Um,
Crap, nobody
so
knows about
but
Deirdre. Can you guys check it out? I mean, you know of Kevin Hart, right? I'm pretty sure you find him funny. Check out
they
Deirdre.
probably don't even find him funny. That's the thing. And
See,
even
that's
if
my
they
point. So, see, exactly my point. Case in point, you're telling them, like, are you telling your friends? But then their friends probably won't like us. It's the same
No, no,
thing.
no. That's not exactly my point. Like, okay, that they have to spread the word and tell their friends because, like, I'm a certain guy where I'm. It's funny because, like, if I like something, like maybe it's a restaurant or if it's a YouTube channel or if it's like a joke or something or some bargain place that I can buy something I like, I don't necessarily like broadcast it and like tell people, hey, go there. This is a cool place. I kind of want that exclusivity for
Right. Because
for
you're
myself
selfish,
for a
right?
while. In a way, for a while, yes, because I feel
Yes.
like it's like a bar. We used to hang out at a bar, and it's just us, and there's a cool crowd there, and then it gets popular. All of a sudden, you're like, this is not the same place anymore. I
True.
don't want that to happen to certain places or
Yeah,
certain
I get your point.
establishments
I
or
get your
certain,
point.
you know, because like sometimes when you watch a show, like for example on YouTube, there's a small content creator, and his show is really raw and funny, and it's not polluted by ads or sponsorships or anything. So you enjoy it because it's raw and it's just but then he gets famous and he gets 1 million followers, and all of a sudden he starts sounding fake and he starts having all these sponsorships, and he's no longer. That's what happened. That's why I don't watch Will Dasovich anymore. I mean, nothing against Will Dasovich, but I was one of the first guys to watch that guy, and I was telling Chuck about it, like, dude, there's this YouTuber. He's from the States, but he's really cool. But he does like everything. He rides jeepneys and he rides whatever. And now, like, he's gotten his wealth and he's being sponsored by these big companies, and he's like dating Alodia Goseng Fiao now, and he's hanging out with celebrities. Also, when I watch his videos, it's kind of it's not him anymore. It's not raw anymore. He doesn't drink tanduay with the tambais anymore. He doesn't. He's usually and it's lost its character. That's what I'm saying. It's like, maybe like, okay, maybe like for us, like for example, we're doing this show, right? And we talk about the stuff that because we have that freedom, But what if someone starts managing us and starts saying we're going to brand you Rod and Ice, you're going to be sponsored by Globe or something, and you're going to have certain topics to talk about, and you're going to stick to this and that? I think we're going to start to sound a little different, and we will gain a bigger audience, but we might lose our core audience. So I'm kind of that way with certain things, like I kind of, once I discover a diamond in the rough, I want to kind of keep it to myself for a while, Muna, before I pollute it with mass of people following it, because I know that there will be a change. It will change. It's like finding your peaceful spot. You don't want everybody to know about it. It's your peaceful spot. It's no longer going to be peaceful. But anyways, all right, let's read some of the messages. Unfortunately, no, but I'll give it a shot after the show, Ice. So okay, yeah, somebody will try it, Luis, and I bet you next episode when you're muted.
All right, Luis, check it out and tell me if you
I
find it
bet
funny.
you next episode he will tell you he hasn't seen it yet.
I know. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't
Before you
expect too
know it,
much
it's
because
been a
Rod,
year.
we've been talking a lot about this thing, and he likes Kevin Hart, and I've been telling him about that
I
joke.
like
Like,
Kevin Hart.
check out the Deer Bra, because that, no matter how many times I've watched it, it would still
Yeah,
make me laugh.
but
The Deer
and
Bra,
and,
the Deer Bra part,
and
so
people,
funny.
you cannot say that I don't think Iceman's credible source of suggestions or recommendations, because one of the best things that he's recommended to me was Entourage. And if not for him, I probably wouldn't have given it a second look. But when he told me about Entourage and he kept talking about Ari Gold and he had this enthusiasm about it, it started with like one episode and I was in. I was like, dang it. So then after I saw the episode, I started going to Victoria Plaza and I bought all the VCDs, DVDs that I could buy, because that was the only place that I could get it, because I didn't have HBO. I like it. It was on HBO, but I think the seasons came out already previously, so they were not aired on cable anymore. And yeah, I just had to go and find the DVDs. And fortunately, I was able to find the DVDs of the previous seasons. Dude, I finished all 8 seasons. I saw the movie. I memorized some of the lines, and it's from Iceman, and it became the intro of our show. The intro of Entourage became the intro
Right.
of our show, and it's funny because the most relatable guy there for us was probably Johnny Drama, because he's
Yes,
old, and
yes,
Ari Gold, and Ari
yes.
Gold, right, right, because he's old.
Right. Sometimes I watch it and I feel bad for myself because, oh my god, I wish I can be a celebrity like, what was his name?
McVince, Mc,
Vince Chase,
McVince,
right? I wish I could
McVince,
be
yeah,
like
Vinny,
Vincent
yeah,
Chase, or even Eric, right? Eric was what, the manager. He
yeah,
was like sort of the
yeah,
manager. He
yeah,
became
yeah.
the
Yeah,
manager.
he's the
I
manager
mean, at
friend. Yeah,
least him
he's
as the
the yeah,
manager, he could like screw girls and whatnot. Then,
yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah.
Drama's like always, I mean, always trying his best and always, like screwing things up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh
But
my god, I feel like I'm Johnny Drama.
victory. But here's the thing, though. Yeah, okay, Patrick's like, speaking of Entourage, I'm on the third season, really enjoying it. The women are hot, especially Ariel. Okay, so Patrick's after it for the girls. Now, here's why guys like us probably appreciate and enjoy Entourage more than like the younger audience. There is, they have a lot of guests there that most people probably don't really care for in this day and age. Like, um, I mean, I know Mandy Moore was there, Val Kilmer was there as a hippie. Oh my God, Carla Gugino, I have the biggest crush on, was there, and like then he like screw her for a bit. So there are a lot of
Sasha
like
Grey was there for crying out loud.
references. Sasha Grey was there. She's fairly new. I think the younger kids know her, but there are a lot of like older folks, and there are a lot of because it's loosely
Yeah,
based
Harry
on
Gold's wife. She's
Mark
hot.
Wahlberg, right? Yeah, she's hot. They were always having this marriage therapy sessions that Harry Gold always
Right,
has to leave
right, right.
because he's getting a phone call.
Yes. And most of the time, these are stupid phone calls.
He's always
Why do
like
I have to
freaking
deal with
out.
this?
Yeah, and it's like and he has this relationship with Lloyd, his assistant, who he treats like shit, but he loves, right? Like
Mhm.
Lloyd's like Lloyd, like always like it's every time something screwy, it's Lloyd that he calls on to, and and it's such a well made team. I think the chemistry, the casting, I mean, I don't
True.
know. I love that series. It's a perfect series. It's a gem of a series. I think everybody just and it just flows smoothly. Doesn't seem forced. Doesn't seem forced. It's just naturally funny and but it's not for everyone. Like I never recommended it to any of the Bakaka boys. I never recommended it to any of my other because I know people who might not get it. They'd be like, "What? Why is
They will
Rod
not get it.
speaking highly of this
They
show? I
probably
don't
won't get
get
it.
it, right? Like I don't like
Mm,
I don't even
mm,
know. I don't even know if
mm.
Mao watched that show. I would think Mao would get it, but I don't even think he cares much about Entourage. But if he did, he'd get it. But maybe it's not his thing. Maybe he doesn't find it interesting to watch somebody go through fame with his childhood friends and get to maybe for that annoys him because he envies the guy. Like, yeah, we envy the guy. I mean we kind of have like an inside look, right? And we kind of yeah, and I spoke to Billy Kane about that. I think Billy Kane has seen some episodes, and Billy Kane's like, dude, we were kind of like that, bro. Like during our like auto shop bar hopping days and parties, we were kind of were we like that? Like, come to think
Because
of it,
we,
we
yeah,
were.
because we were
We
different
kind of lived
personalities.
that life for a bit.
Billy Kid's a different guy. You're a different guy. Joe's a different guy. I'm a
Yeah,
different guy. We all have our own personalities. We're like a boy band,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there
And
would
we
be
kind of
certain
lived
girls
that
that would
life.
walk in the station, and you would know that
Yeah,
okay, that's Billy Kane's girl.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
somebody walks
yeah,
in, like, that's Joe's chick. All right.
yeah,
Oh, this is
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
Rod's chick. All right.
Oh, this one is Iceman's. You know why? Because he bought her there. She came with him. Like you're
Crap.
usually the one that brings the girls in. Chuck doesn't, dude. Chuck knows a lot of pretty girls. Does he bring them to the station? Never. You only see the pretty friends of Chuck when you're out of the bar, and it's like, oh, wow. But he never brings any of his female friends at the station. I don't know if he's
Maybe
ashamed
they
of the
don't like
job or
music.
he's,
The
he's
girls that I
embarrassed to
bring in the station, they're girls who like music.
meet. But you always have connections with pretty girls. Like you're all hanging out with like Tuti and all these girls. They're all good-looking women. They all hang out with them. They're like your friends. I don't have like a group of female friends that I
Yeah,
hang
because
around
you're
with who are
not.
pretty.
That's not your thing. That's not your thing. That's my thing. I mean, you would rather play,
Yeah, that's your thing. That's definitely your
games,
thing.
right? That's my
Yeah.
thing. Like, to like even with all the gadgets right now, like even if I have an iPhone 13, I have all these subscriptions and whatnot. If
How did
somebody
that become
would
your thing, though?
ask me out, like, no, I mean, hanging out with people is my thing. Like even now with all these, like I have computers, I have Hulu,
No,
Disney
but
Plus,
how did that
Netflix.
become your thing? That's what I'm asking. Like with
I don't know.
girls,
Maybe
like
that's
how were
just
you
my
able to connect with
personality.
them? Were they your classmates? Were they? What was the connection? Did you just meet them on the street
Like
and
I
like walk
told
up
you,
to them and like?
there are some things, or there are many things that you can't talk to your guy friends. With girls, you can talk to them about anything. You can be corny, you can be, you can be soft, you can be sensible, you can be, OA and whatnot. And they wouldn't mind because they have their own stories to tell too. But with guys, everybody's a macho guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Guys are
nobody wants to
shallow,
talk
dude.
about, yeah.
We're shallow
You
people.
know,
We
like
are so
if you want
shallow.
if you want Yagao or Sasao, yeah, you go with the guys because the guys, I mean, they definitely have that. They start their drinking spree, tagay na and whatnot. Then you'll have fun.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, if that's an everyday thing, I mean, you can only consume as much. But I mean, you have to have variety. So I have guy friends, I have girlfriends.
No,
I mean,
I,
it's,
I
it's
get
just
I
that.
get why
So
you I
it
get
became
why
my
you
thing.
have female friends. My
I need
question is,
variety.
how did they become your friends? Like, what was the ticket? What was the entry ticket to? How did you get to know these girls? Well, because you taught at Ateneo, because they were
No,
your What
No,
was the
because I know
connection?
somebody who knows them. It's usually just like that.
Okay, all right. So it's a network. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
know
So
somebody
it's a
who knows
network
them.
thing. So that's why
Yeah.
here I have a problem with the Japanese culture because that's not how they operate. Like they do not introduce you to their friends. Like if you're with someone and a friend of them just passed by and they talk, they would not
They
introduce you
won't
to that
introduce
friend,
you.
even if you're
Yeah.
like an inch away from that person. They would never bother to
Yeah.
say, "Oh, hey, this is Iceman," this or whatever.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Yuki, and like you get acquainted. Never, you would never introduce, not even their wives or their spouses, right? Husbands.
Yeah.
Like I see somebody who I teach with, they wouldn't introduce me to their husbands. Their husband's just like an
Yeah.
inch away from me. Not even an
Yeah.
introduction. Oh, this is Takeshi or like Utah or
Yeah.
whatever. Like not even a name. So
Yeah.
right, but in the Philippines, you get introduced to a lot of people, and then you become friends with many people. Because in a way, I'm kind of like Jerry Maguire, so easy to talk to. So I have that persona. If I really want to, I can
Yeah.
have that persona. Like, oh, he's so easy to
Yeah.
talk to, right? I mean, yeah, probably that's why it became a thing for me. All right,
Yeah.
okay,
And you don't
let's
and
leave.
you don't have an agenda too. That's the thing. I think you don't have an agenda. To
Well,
be
I
to
do
be
have an
honest, I think that's
agenda, but it's not. I don't make it my priority. That agenda is like, well,
okay.
it can happen, it might not happen, but if it doesn't happen, it's fine. Like I
Yeah.
don't make it a
Yeah.
priority. I
I
wouldn't say
think I
that I
think I
don't have
always
an
have an
agenda.
agenda. That's my problem.
Well, no, maybe
So I'm
you give
always
your
like,
agenda a priority. Maybe that's your priority. With me, I still have. I would not say I don't have an agenda. I mean, who wouldn't want to be with a pretty girl? Who wouldn't want to screw a pretty girl, right? That's always the
yeah,
agenda that you're talking about.
of
I
course.
have that
Of
agenda,
course.
but I don't make it my priority. If it gets to that, fine. If it doesn't, cool.
Yeah. So you can hang out with pretty women and not do anything and you're fine. Like with me, like for me, it's like I'm
Right?
wasting
Yeah,
my time here.
that's
Like
true.
I'm window shopping. I ain't buying anything here. I'm out of here. I don't like window shopping. I want to buy something. All right. So Patrick says, I'm baffled that Arigold's wife has not divorced him. Yeah. I think she actually loves that about Ari. I think the fact that she's competitive and he is
Mhm.
very, I think if Ari becomes a homebody guy, I think she'll get bored. Luis says, true with the girlfriends, man. Whatever you do or say, you won't hear the face by you. Yeah, that's like usually comes with the guy conversations. So, all right. Anyways, options. So good or
All right.
bad. Was
Okay, so
is it ever? Yeah.
let's read some of the messages before we go. Okay, here it is. Just to because we were bringing up why these guys keep on hanging, or why these guys keep hanging out with us. Patrick's saying, "Well, for me, I'm here because this is my link with Davao. Since both of you guys are from Davao, it keeps me connected, even though I'm 1,000 miles away." And Louise actually agrees with Patrick. True man. Like comparing the Killer Bee OK show a decade ago or so, and this OK show now, you guys sounds exactly the same. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but all right, we'll take that face value. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's basically it.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think I think we're exactly the same because when Ice and I parted, we were at this state in our lives. Like we were like this personality wise. This was our friendship, and then he left, and we experienced things. But we were apart. And so whatever growth we had, that had nothing to do with one another. So if we live together, like maybe if we live together in Japan and we're neighbors or something, then maybe we'll have those things to talk about. But as far as I'm concerned, the only things we can talk about are from the previous experiences that we had, which happened to be from that show. So that's why we're stuck in that gear, where when we reconnect, that's what we talk about. So it feels like we're the same because we really didn't have constant communication during the time that we were, busy with our personal lives. He eventually had a kid and everything. And I have two kids now since that time that we were together. You could just imagine. But those experiences, we did not share them. We weren't hanging around during these
No, because
times,
we're so
right?
far away from each other, and we have our lives to live. That's how it is. Like for you, Patrick,
Yeah.
you're in Australia, right? You're far from your friends, even though you can actually communicate with them on a daily basis. You won't
Yeah.
because you don't live according to Rod, like this ecosystem. It's not the same. So you have to
Yeah.
have a system where you live, and it's hard to be still a part of the other ecosystem that you're from, and you're already
Yes.
existing in that new ecosystem. But now, because of the pandemic, this gave us an opportunity to be connected with each other again, because we can do
Yeah.
like with the technology too. Technology permitted
Yeah.
it. Like without StreamYard, it would still be impossible. But then StreamYard came along, and we
That's
could
true.
do, this
We could do
live thing. We
this.
could actually see each other face to face, and we could have a conversation. And these
Yeah.
conversations were
Yeah.
the exact conversation that we had like a decade ago or 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
And it's still the same chemistry. It's still the same um, mindset. So yeah, that's why maybe it hasn't changed because it's because of that. Every time I talk to Rod, I would seem to like warp back to where I was, 12 years ago. Whereas
Yeah.
if, like after this video conference or after this show, I would just go back to, all right, being in Japan,
Yeah.
right? Like dealing with,
Because I mean, like
we like
I think we
stuff.
all have different versions of ourselves. We all and
We
I think
do.
us
We
being
do.
former radio DJs more so than the regular guy. Because like most guys they're probably almost exactly the same as they are in the office as they are at home. They just have to be professionals when they're in the office. But for us, we had to deal with our audience. We had to deal with the people that we worked with. We had to deal with the establishments who owned bars, and when we would have an event, we also had that personality, that different side to us. So we have different versions of ourselves, and we have different group of friends. Like me, I'm a different version of myself when I'm with my neighborhood friends. I'm a different version of myself when I'm with my family, like my mom and my siblings. I'm a different version of myself with my family, my children, and my wife. I'm a different version when I'm with my in-laws. I'm a different version when I am with my radio buddies. I'm a different version when I'm with the events people. I'm a different version. I don't like behave exactly the same way, because if you do, then if you're an asshole at home, you're an asshole everywhere else. So, and that's not a good thing. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure we're jerks with certain people more often than we are with other people. I mean, I think there are other people in our lives that we don't really exert effort to be nice anymore, because they just like, they're there regardless of how we are. But there are people who have a choice to walk away from your life if you're mean to them. And I think that's why we have this different, faces that we show. And some people might say, no, I'm exactly the same as I am at home. I'm exactly the same. Well, maybe you don't really encounter very many people. Maybe you just like,
Yeah. You need to get
just
out more.
work.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah, you need to go out more. Exactly. But with us, we needed to go out. We were like out every freaking night, partying and meeting different people. And we can't possibly approach that relationship the same way as we do everyone else. Like even with our listeners, like we have people who we're close to, like Gab and these guys that we know, that when we talk to them, we can joke with them in a different way. And we also have listeners who we kind of like keep a distance with and sort of
Right.
are nicer towards, because they might get offended and think we're jerks. But with Gab,
True.
we can joke and
Yeah.
call him whatever, and he won't
You have
take
to
it
take it
personally.
too.
Yeah, he'll take it. He doesn't get insulted because he knows that we're friends. But there are listeners out there that might walk away from the station after meeting us and go, man, those guys are jerks. Those guys were like
Right.
teasing me that I'm like this. Or, I mean, remember what's his name? Gary Coleman. Like, he doesn't listen to us, right? But we were like so mean to him. But he was also just, what's his name? Kurt.
Yeah, I think
Remember?
so. Plant. Yeah, plant.
Plant. Yeah, I mean,
Plant.
he's a
Yes,
friend.
plant.
I mean, he was just cool.
He
But we
is.
used to
He
call him
is.
Gary Coleman. I mean, you know, and I don't know if he listens to this show. I'm friends with him on Facebook, so I hope he takes time to check this out. But I haven't heard from him in a while. But there are people who are like that, where they know us and they don't get offended because they know that we're nice people. We just have to have this. See, that's the thing with radio, or when you're doing some sort of like entertainment, something, you can't be too nice, because then you lose your people don't you lose your mystique. If you're like, you have to be kind of like cocky a little bit. I mean, do you agree, Ice? You can't be too nice. You can't be
I don't
like,
know.
you can't be puny, man. You can't be a bully either, but you can't be puny, dude. Come on. If you watch Joe Rogan and he's like, yeah, so what do you eat for breakfast? Dude, you think Joe
All right.
Rogan's gonna
Okay.
have his
If you mean that way,
right?
then no, because I'm not that way.
Yeah.
But I try to make it a point every time I meet people to be nice to people. Like I never try to give them an attitude. Like I told you, that was my mission in life. If I become a radio DJ, if I am a radio personality, I will not give attitude towards people who would come
No, you're
visit.
nice. You're nice, but you have
Yeah.
swag. You're
All right.
Iceman,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
crying
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
If
I
you
was
were
trying
just
to.
gonna be
Yeah.
nice,
I
you're
was
not
trying to
gonna
figure out.
name
All right.
yourself
You have a
Iceman.
point.
You're gonna be like little
Because I
brother
say stupid things
Alritz,
all the
right?
time.
Yeah. So we still exert an effort to dress up like we're, like, because I mean, if you're just nice, you're just gonna look like a pastor or something, and like, hi brother. No, I meant that way nice, like
What's up?
if you're that way, right? But we're DJs. We kind of like people listen to us. People look at we're associated with celebrities and artists with the music that we play. We kind of have to represent that, right? You cannot
Represent.
you can't have your junior jocks look cooler than you, right?
Yeah.
People have to see you in the booth and know which one's the DJ and which one's the junior jock, right?
Right.
There has to
Well,
be that
apparently,
difference.
Patrick thought that Gabby is actually a DJ.
Well, he kind of is because he spends more time at the station than we do.
Right. Well, yeah. That's true. That's true. That's not a
Yeah,
surprise.
actually,
That's not a surprise because Gabby invested a lot, back in the day. He was always there. He was always helping out. So
yeah,
yeah,
he
of
was. He
course.
was. He was always at the events. He
He took
helped.
pictures too,
He
right?
was.
He helped out a lot.
Yeah, he did. He did. And he brought in some friends. He would always bring friends. Like I think he worked at a call center. He would bring friends at our events and our parties. And I think we needed people like that at our station because we were most of us, the only guy, like whenever we'd meet up and Iceman wasn't around or whatever, we would always bring up Iceman because we would always talk about how he was the one who was bringing life to the station because he was just always enthusiastic about the events and the radio shows. Like Mao, myself, Joe, we're lazy. Like we wouldn't even do anything to promote the radio. So we've just gotten to the point where like, well, we're old. We have no excitement. Like we'll go to the parties, but we're kind of too, I don't know. We're like too adult to like go down there and like reach out to the audience or whatever. Ice did that. He did that. I mean, granted, he was the youngest, if I'm not mistaken, amongst us, amongst the senior DJs, he was the youngest. So he was the one who had that easier connection because if I did it, I would seem like a pedophile or a creep. But Ice can get away with it. Like he could reach out to high school students and they'd like trust him. Can you imagine
People
Chuck
would be
and I
like,
doing it?
among those guys, that's a danger. He's the most dangerous right there. It's like because he could blend in. You be careful with that guy.
Yeah. You
Careful
could
with
blend
that
in.
guy.
You could blend in. That's the thing. And he was the one with that enthusiasm. Like if we had surveys at school, if we
Bantaya
had like
muna lang.
we attended the fiestas, Iceman would be
Muna lang
there.
sana.
He'd wear the Killer Bee shirt. He'd do the ad libs that no one else would want to do. He would do the board time that no one else wanted to do. And we needed the youth and the energy of the youth. So Gab came in, all these other young kids who supported the station. They helped us because they were excited and we weren't. We were
True.
like,
True.
and then, it rubs off on you. But anyways, I was a junior DJ that calls Junior B when the show aired. Yeah, he started out just hanging out at the show, right?
Right. And
He
eventually
would just
became a
show up.
junior B.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
first time
became
I
like
saw
a
him on your Facebook accounts, I was like, "Who's this guy?" He was always there. I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I think he started chatting with me on Messenger or something, and I
I'll
got to
take the
know him
jokes kay wala ko'y
online.
choice.
Yeah, take it. You don't have a
Dude,
choice.
yeah, I mean, even what's it called? Even Boys Night Out, they had this guy who was just
Lone
heartbroken
Survivor.
and started hanging.
Jojo.
No, yes,
Jojo.
love Survivor, Jojo. That guy was just like a listener who was like rejected by a girl or something, and he became a part of their show.
He became
And
a part of the show.
he was right because he was the in
Just like
between.
that.
He was the in between the Boys Night Out and the audience because sometimes you know it's like Vilma Santos had Roderick Paulate as her co-host, or
Right.
Sharon had Herbert or Randy Santiago as her co-host because you know they needed somebody to be more. I'm not saying like Gab was like a Rene Riquestas of Joey De Leon. You know what I'm saying? But
Well, you just said it.
no, but then
You
again,
just started
Rene
with, "I'm
Riquestas is
not
actually,
saying."
but Rene Riquestas is actually funnier than Joey De Leon.
Right. But Gab, don't worry about it because you know what? He bullies everybody. He bullies me too. He sets me up. So don't worry about
Dude,
it. This is the guy.
I,
This is the guy
I
who
don't
asks people
bull-
to line up outside his house and do a salute so that they could come in and watch a freaking TV show.
dude, that's not
So don't
bullying,
forget that.
man. I always give him brotherly advice
Trip lang,
whenever
trip.
we
Trip lang.
whenever we ride together. We always eat like a JFC or some like golden fried chicken, some cheap place after a board time because he keeps me company. Because he always has free time. He lives in a boarding house, so he's like, yeah. So he'll ride with me and we'll eat somewhere and talk about stuff. And I always give him kind of like this kuya advice when we're in the car. and he's always like, yeah, 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 and like he actually fell for it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I would just say these
Do
things
not trust
and
this
not
guy. Do
no,
not
but
trust
they're
him.
real though. But I don't expect him to take me seriously because I always thought I was like,
Right?
okay, this guy's just jokes
Maybe
around.
these advice are just, like an experiment. Like, what if I say this to Gab? Would he actually do it? And what would be the effect? Let's see.
No, but I mean, I really like same with Mark. You know, Mark. I used to run at Ladislao with Mark. He became very close to the family. He would teach yoga
Right?
to my wife. You know, he was at the baptismal of Raj. I mean, who would imagine that? Because I'm that kind of person. Like, yeah, I seem like but I don't. You know. Anyway, and he
You
goes,
got so
yeah,
many
right after
sidekicks,
boardwork.
Rod.
See,
Also, every
yeah, we always
Thursdays,
have
I
the.
consider Boys Night Out as a prelude to the KO show. I would listen to BNO as well every Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
Which came first?
Okay.
BNO
I
came
think
first.
it's no. I think
Do you
Boys
know
Night
which came
Out.
first?
I don't know. I think BNO was already there when we were doing the show.
The morning show when we were still morning.
No, I think when we did the nightly shows, because I think they would no BNO. I don't think they
I don't
were.
remember them being around
I
yet.
don't think
Yeah,
they
I
were
just know
around yet.
Mo. Mo had a
It was
show, and
Mo
then they
Twister in
had
the
like
morning.
yeah, and then at night they had like Boom or something or like
Something like that. I forgot. It wasn't BNO yet.
yeah,
BNO was like years later. When I came
it was
home
years
and
later.
I heard of BNO and
Yeah,
yeah.
it was probably Tony because Sam YG was their junior jock if I'm not mistaken. He was taking up law at ADM, and then he stopped taking up law when he joined the show because yeah, he was just like kind of like their campus jock or something. And then he eventually became a part of the. Then
Mhm.
they eventually created a show around those guys.
So I
But
heard, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
But anyways, so yeah, options, good or bad. I would say I would rather have options than no options. But considering how simpler lives were back then, when we didn't have any options, I guess it's okay if you don't know the difference or if you don't know any better. Like if you didn't know that you could have options, then having no options is fine. But if you know you have options and then it's taken away from you, then it's bad. That's just my take on it. Like, you know, like even if you complain about Vikings having so many options, if they took all those options away and just gave you 5 choices, you'd complain, right? You'd be like, what the hell? I mean, Kuya Ed's had like what, 10 dishes? 8 dishes?
I guess it wasn't that many,
Wasn't that many.
but
But we
we
were
were happy
fine.
with it. We were happy
Yeah,
with it,
we were fine. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We were happy with it. We were not
They
grossed
even
out or
had
anything.
lato for crying out loud. Didn't they have lato?
Exactly.
I mean, who has lato
Yes.
at a
What
buffet?
I'm
You know what lato
saying.
is?
Yeah.
You know what lato is?
The shells. The
Seaweed.
shells.
No, seaweed, right? Isn't lato
Ah,
seaweed?
seaweed. We call it lato.
I think.
All right.
I think it's yeah. I
The
think it is.
nori.
I'm not
Nori is
sure.
lato.
I'm not sure.
But it's a different kind of
Anyways,
lato, right? It's not nori because
yeah.
nori is seaweed, but lato is like sort of like those actual weeds, right?
Lato is like it's almost like twigs, like green looking
I
like
know.
twigs, but they're like
Yeah, it looks like weeds, like an actual weed,
just
right?
sea grapes is different. Sea grapes is also seaweed, but that's different. Lato is like without the grapes. It's just the stem. Like they're just like stem and they're kind of like
Yeah, I've seen
they're
those.
like
Like it's green, it's
yeah.
gross. I didn't eat them. FYI, I didn't eat them. I was happy
Picky
with
eater.
Kuya Ed's, but I did not touch it ever. I've eaten there so
Lato.
many times, I never
Yeah,
tried
you
it.
don't look like you eat lato, man.
Yeah,
All right. So
I go for
anyways,
fish, meat, not lato.
the one you pair with Quack Quack. Yes, that one. Wow, Patrick knows, and he's in Australia. Yes, that's the one. That's lato. The one you pair with Quack Quack. Yeah. Oh no,
Guso is
that's
the one
guso.
that looks like
Sorry.
twigs. Guso.
Hey
All right.
Dan. Hey, that's like one of my best friends in college, man. That's my buddy Dan. Guso is the one that looks like twigs. Okay, sorry, man. That's guso then. So what's lato? Lato is the one that looks like grapes. I mean, I don't
Or
even
the
know if it's Tagalog
shells.
or Bisaya. Lato?
I remember like
It,
the one with the
it,
shells. I look like
okay,
okay.
lato
Lato
is
is the
the one
one.
that looks like. Okay, all right, all right,
Why
all
don't
right, all
we
right. Thank you for
Google it?
clarifying
Hang
that.
on.
Yeah,
Lato.
I, di- I, I didn't even know Dan was tuned
Here
in.
it is. Got it. Ew.
So
Ew. I'm not eating that shit.
you know, Iceman. I know this guy, and whenever we're at a karinderya, we're eating at a karinderya, it's always giniling. He's boy giniling. And you know what? The funny thing is, I can't complain. Like giniling, if you're gonna go to a karinderya, it's hard for them to screw up giniling, right?
No, I told you I do not experiment with food. It's
They'll
either
screw
pork
up their
chops or
adobo.
giniling.
They'll
Pork
screw up
chops
their
or giniling. That's
menudo.
just it.
They'll screw up their no, but the pork chop and the giniling, you cannot screw that up. I
But
mean,
no, you know what, man? Like my wife, she cooks a really good giniling, and my mother-in-law, but nothing can beat the giniling that I like from Palamigan. That's my
yeah.
favorite giniling right there. Palamigan.
Okay, it has to have green peas, right? That's the only vegetables you get.
Potatoes, well, potatoes
Carrots.
not. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, carrots, of course,
Yeah,
carrots
giniling
and yeah,
is the
green
safe
pea.
dish in a karinderya. The most
Mhm.
dangerous is the sabaw.
Because it will only be sabaw, nothing in it. A bit of like cabbage,
There's
but
always
that's
one leaf.
that's
There's
it.
always one leaf.
There's always one
There's
leaf. Be
always
happy with one leaf. Pare libre yun eh. Be happy with one leaf. It's free. Beggars can't be
yeah, just
choosers. That's a
just make
fact.
sure you don't accidentally drink the water where the hot water where the spoons and forks are put in. You
Yeah.
know, let tabang lagi sabaw. Para mo na sa kutsara, sir.
Apil na kagaw diya, sir.
Recycled bone. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
what it
Okay,
is.
guys,
Yeah.
we'll see you on next weekend.
Saturday again.
And I'll do my best to clean up all our recordings so that we could start promoting it and we could upload it. I was like doing it last
Yeah.
night. I felt so sleepy, and my sister was like laughing. So I'm like, all right, I'll do my best to
Don't
finish it.
overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just like
Yeah, I know, but
it's fine.
Dude, it's like I have to like because the first episode we had was like almost 2 hours. I have to listen to every word that we say there and like clean it up. And I was like still
Just
like
cut
9
it.
minutes out. 9 minutes out. My sister was saying that to just cut it out, like that particular part. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I could still remedy it. That was interesting right there. But anyway, okay, I'll do my best. All right, tomorrow's a Sunday, so I hope I can have more time. But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, and
Thanks, guys.
I'll see you next Saturday. It's been a pleasure. This has been the OK Show. Too many options, good or bad? Rod said good. To me, well, yeah, it is good, but it can be bad. Try to do
Unless
some
it's on
reading.
Netflix. Unless it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
Then you fall
yeah,
asleep.
yeah. Of course, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max doesn't matter. So yeah, unless it's that, you know. So yeah, just try to read on some stuff about choices because I heard that if you have too many choices in life, it can get depressing too. So just be careful with it because it's a pandemic right now, and we need to take
Yeah,
care of our mental health. I've been trying to
that's
look
true.
for a psychiatrist or a psychologist to have as a guest, but if anybody of you knows someone who would be
Yeah,
game to be in the show, please let us
yeah.
know. I was
I mean, even just a
asking my sister.
psychology major, is that fine? Does it have to be somebody who
I don't
is
know, but I
licensed?
mean,
Just
well, they could like
I
say
take a
some stuff, but
psychology
they can't
major.
really. But they're not an like yeah. But if they're not an authority on the subject, it would be it would be tricky.
That's
But
true.
well,
That's
we'll see, we'll see. All right. But if you know anybody, please let us know. I've been asking my sister, and she said she's gonna
yeah.
look into it. But yeah, so
A
we'll let
resource
you know.
speaker for mental health. If you have
Yeah,
somebody
because
with the
it's the
credentials
pandemic,
to
and a lot of people are dealing with mental issues.
yeah. Yeah,
So thanks a
by
lot.
the time after that person's guesting on the show, they'll have issues themselves. Those two screwed me up.
Buisit! Buisit! Ba't ako nakinig? Naminaw man ko. Leche! All right, yeah. I mean, that would happen. That could probably happen.
It could, it
All right,
could. Yeah. We have
we're
that
gonna give a
effect on
warning
people.
though, all right, before we air or before we go on live streaming. Anyway, my name
Yeah.
is Iceman.
Rod Rodriguez.
All right, thank you very much, and be careful, and be careful with your choices. Thanks a lot. Good night. We are out.